Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be getting through the Cell Max mission for beating the stage with no items, with what I think is probably the best team to use for this mission, if you have the units available, obviously, because we are using both of the Gammas. I did obviously pull both of them. So there are other teams that can no item the stage. Obviously, if you guys look through even just my channel, I mean, I did a no items run against Cell Max with LR Cooler's team when he came out, and that was before like STRTUR Cooler even had his Easy A. So it has been possible with a couple of teams before now, but I feel like this is one of the easier ones, just solely based on how powerful the Gammas are. So it does require a little bit of RNG in terms of the rotations, like your starting rotations and stuff, because we do have a couple of units who are not actually on the leader skill, which is, of course, we saw the tech androids there, and we also have AGL Pycon on the team. And of course, as I'm sure you can guess, the reason why we have brought those units is solely for their active skill abilities, where we can Ghost Usher the turn away and have a free turn. And of course, if we have one followed by the other, we can use both of them and have 2 free turns. So of course, as you could probably guess, the strategy is just to get to Tech Cell Max, use the 2 active skills, and ideally have the Gammas just run wild and take out Tech Cell Max. So I try and stall as much as possible, but the team is pretty good, links up very well. There's not much you can do, right, with how powerful the Gammas are just in general, and then the fact that obviously Special Pose and Artificial Lifeform units now do extra damage to Cell Max, so it means these guys do go absolutely crazy. So I was trying to think the best way to play out this rotation here, because the Gammas kill the androids, kill Cell so quickly. I don't want to float the androids off and then not have them when I need them. So I have to go ahead and float off the STR Gamma 1 here. I want to keep Gamma 2 on main rotation, on both rotations. That's why I'm using a Gamma 2 friend instead of a Gamma 1 friend, because obviously Gamma 2 is able to put out more damage on his best turns, and obviously the goal is to take out Cell Max as quickly as possible so we can utilize those 2 Ghost Ushers. I mean, if you got the perfect RNG, you could actually probably beat him in 2 turns, right? And by perfect RNG, I mean like the first turn of the tech phase, you have both the Gammas, you pop one of the active skills, like STR, like Gamma 1 does like a double super, and then Gamma 2 does his like 4 or 5 super attack turn, loads of crits thrown in, and then obviously like the second turn follows, you're only going to have Gamma 2, but depending who else is on the rotation, that's why we've got STR Piccolo, because not only is he a good defensive unit, but he is also a movie hero support, so he gives extra support to the Gammas, and then obviously we have God Goku as well there for the tanking. So this run is actually not a perfect run of how this could go. I got a little bit of bad RNG towards the end, but we still managed to get it done, and I think this was like the second try, and then I did it again after this. I recorded this while I was at work. I did it again afterwards just with the same build and finished it slightly slower, so I decided to keep this one as the one to use for the video. So it is pretty consistent. Obviously it requires like this exact team build for it to actually go, you know, perfectly, but this is basically what we want to do. We're going to use the active skill for Pycon, then we're going to put him in slot 3, because obviously we don't want him coming back anytime soon, because he is very much a weak link on the team. And then we save the orbs so we can get the rainbows and the type orbs for him. He doesn't really need the rainbow orbs because he doesn't need to dodge, but with the type orbs, that means he obviously gives extra support, which means he's giving support to Gamma 2 over here. So this is where you can see we get a little bit unlucky. We do get the additional super straight away, 7.2 million, but not critting on the first one definitely hurts us in terms of the overall damage output. Because you can see we did what, 1.9 and then 2.2 million. We are getting the third super as well. I can't remember if one of these crits, and then you can see like the significant difference in damage. Yeah, 10 million as opposed to like 2 that we were doing before. So again, Gamma 2 is absolutely going off. He's super attacked 4 times in this turn. but he only crit on one of them. If he'd crit on all 4, we potentially would be finishing off Cell Max next turn with the sheer amount of damage that they can put out. Like, if he had crit on all of those supers, he would have done an absolutely ridiculous amount of damage. And that's just on the rotation where it's just the AGL one by himself. So, unfortunately, because of the early turns where we had to float off the Gamma 1, it's taken a while for that sort of cycle to come back around. So obviously that is basically what hurt this run a little bit. Like, on these first 2 turns where you have your 2 Ghost Usher abilities, ideally you want to have at least one of those 2 turns be with Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 together, because Gamma 2 is the damage dealer, that's why we're running a second one. But obviously with Gamma 1 next to him, he's getting 6 out of 7 links, as well as that extra little bit of support, and then he really goes off. Like, that previous turn, even though we got unlucky with not a huge amount of crits, if we'd had Gamma 1 there to go next to Gamma 2, like, his damage output would have been significantly higher. So there is still a little bit of RNG involved. Obviously, if you get to the Tech Cell Max phase and through mismanagement of your rotations or whatever, you don't have either the Tech Androids or Pycon on the first turn, or maybe you have one of them on the first turn but then you don't have the other one on the second turn, that means obviously you are going to have to just go ahead and, you know, just do as normal and try and survive that turn against Cell Max. And that's why we've brought units like God Goku, STR Piccolo, because if we do have to play out one of those turns, then obviously we are more likely to survive. And as I said earlier, not the best RNG on this run. Again, Gamma 2, we did get some additional supers, but we didn't get a huge amount of crits, so we didn't do a ton of damage. And obviously the Tech Androids are not on the leader skill, so they're not going to do that much damage. But we are now in a perfect spot here on the final turn. No attacks in slot 1. We finally have Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 together. We also have the support from the STR Piccolo, so I wasn't really concerned here at all about the possibility of losing, because Gamma 1 is not only able to do a solid amount of damage, but he should be fully built up at this point. So he will tank normals for double-digit damage, and then I don't think he gets supered. He does get supered, okay, and how much is he taking here? Fully built up with support. See, still 370k, so we did actually get quite lucky. I mean, not a lot of units can tank Cell Max's super for only 370k, even though that is still quite a lot of damage. But then our boy Gamma 2 comes in clutch with the crit, finishes him off. We could have put Gamma 2 in slot 1, and he probably would have just killed him anyway. But obviously, I was thinking in the case of what if we get the worst case scenario RNG, where we only get a bunch of additional normals and we don't get any crits, and then that super attack would have killed Gamma 2. So putting Gamma 1 in slot 1 definitely was the way to go, and then that is the no item run secure. Like I said, I set a new record as well, just under 8 minutes, and then as I said, I went ahead and did it again afterwards with the same team. So it is a pretty consistent way to get this done. You just have to manage your rotations, make sure you get the androids or Pycon on turn 1 of the tech phase, and then the other one on turn 2, and then you just let the Gammas unleash hell for those 2 turns, and potentially if you do actually get the best case RNG, especially if you have the Gammas Rainbow yourself, which I know is not a lot of people necessarily that are going to be watching this video, but they will go absolutely ham and destroy him. So there you go, the easiest way to beat Tech Cell Max, or beat the Cell Max no items mission. It does require this specific team, but this is a pretty consistent way to get this mission done. So let me know down below in the comment section, which team did you use to beat this mission? Did you pull the Gammas? Have you got any of the other missions left to do? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.